Yeah, that was kind of whatever, brother. That was kind of whatever.
This is Portland, Oregon, the city that decriminalized every
xQc,
drug.
can I get a welcome to
This
the
is
jungle
Portugal,
for the
the
unpaid
country
coal
that
miners
also decriminalized every drug. But with insanely different results, what is the difference between Portugal's decriminalization and Portland's?
Well, the idea is legalize all drugs.
Why has Portugal had great success while Portland has failed?
Today, 2024, it's in people's faces.
Over the last year, I've documented the deadliest drug in human history, fentanyl, infiltrate nearly every major city in America from Honolulu, Hawaii, to Anchorage, Alaska, to Kensington, Philadelphia, with drug overdose becoming the #1 cause of death for Americans under the age of 40 in 37 states.
In the last 3 years, I've seen well over 200 people that I've known personally die from fentanyl overdose. And it's almost everybody I know.
Yeah, now your son is fucking ODing in high school, dead as shit, right?
Is he alive right now? Potential overdose. What can be done to stop this overdose epidemic? In 2020, Oregon passed Measure 110, decriminalizing the use and possession of all drugs, hoping it would help drug addicts feel more comfortable seeking treatment rather than hiding their drug addiction in the shadows in fear of being incarcerated. But in 2024, drug use and possession has been recriminalized and will take effect this September. Initially taking inspiration from the drug policy of Portugal, it claims to have solved their drug issues with decriminalization as a key part of their strategy, has made me wonder if there's something else Oregon's experiment was missing besides just decriminalizing drugs.
Nearly 4 years after Oregonians voted to decriminalize drugs, the move has ignited controversy. All sides admit something isn't working. The question is, what now?
Like, if you die in public, you should have to go to recovery. Like,
what do you got for sale? MDMA?
Hey, I thought you bullshit.
Drogas. And make you lose your mind.
Okay.
So that is bad for health, man.
Oh man, I'm talking about like, there's volcanic activity and stuff like that and earthquakes.
Before I go to Amsterdam and Portugal to see what Oregon may have been missing and what the United States can learn, I went back to Portland to see what the locals and drug addicts think about recriminalizing the use and possession of these drugs. Let's talk to the public here, see what they think. As you can see right behind me,
I don't like seeing people running around smoking their tinfoil.
Right here. Is this a common occurrence?
Oh, every day. Incredible. I've been...
They feel absolutely wonderful at all times, 150 times more comfortable.
Got it.
And I'm an old hippie, you know, we used to get stoned and everything like that, but we were respectful.
People are doing it in a specific way where, like, look at that.
Okay.
It's getting to a point where it's like, you can do whatever you want to do. We still over here working hard to get it. We all could be homeless. We all could be on these kind of things, but at the end of the day, we choose to get out and walk a certain way and carry ourselves. We all have the capabilities to be less than, but we're choosing, like, we're having a conversation, we're dressed a certain way.
It basically gave open rein for everybody to just do dope.
I'm
not saying
is that physically addictive like a lot?
The best solution. I don't know what the best solution is.
So open air drug use impacted your business, if at all?
People don't feel safe. People coming here, for example, like tourists, may think, oh, I'm not safe here. But I do feel like, like a lot cleaner here than few years back.
Yo, I asked a question and Chad's mad at me. Like, it's insane. Dude.
You would see feces on the ground.
I asked a fucking question, you fucking bum.
Since last year.
I think there are people who have straightened...
That's a common sense. The guy compared the 70s and the use of, like, pot and, like, LSD, whatever, as a comparison to people using drugs now. Even though the context was different and the use context was different, the potential addiction and use rate is completely different.
Out their lives.
But I asked if this was physically addicting.
Maybe a rude awakening that incarceration presented in their lives, but I know that it's a revolving door. I would rather see other approaches tried.
Do you think Portland had enough time to see the results that they were intending?
No, and I also think we're such a political hotbed, both just locally and nationally, that the atmosphere isn't appropriate for it. I think there's just too many ulterior motives. There's a lot of money to be made in the justice and criminal systems, as well as like the recovery systems, and like our culture is another variable that's not always perfectly transferable to a place like Europe either.
Do you think it's a good thing to be able to use drugs in public and not be charged? No?
No, hell no.
To be honest, there's just smells like
I think it exacerbated it. I think that it just made it a lot. You started seeing more of it everywhere. Instead of being something people did, you know,
Perfect moment
behind
to watch
closed
this
doors,
link.
it was out in the open. We were enabling and even promoting drug use.
Smile.
They could go to a number of different organizations, you know, and get clean needles. And I understand the reasoning behind that.
Sure.
Clean needles, crack pipes, whatever you wanted, they'd hand it to you. But they weren't really giving them resources like this is where you can go if you want to get clean. They weren't trying to help them get their lives back together so that they could have a good life and a quality of life. They were just enabling their drug use.
There needs to be consequences. If there's no consequences, then people are going to do whatever they want.
Is it dirtier or more clean in the last month out here in Portland?
Man, with us, with Central City Concern out here, it's cleaner.
And I just noticed this syringe drop box right there. Do you have to empty those?
Man, I got a syringe drop box right here.
Do people even use those, or do they just throw them on the ground?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that people
No
do
way.
throw them on the ground, though. But they do a lot of, man, people look at these people like
Shit is
they
breaking,
like
bro.
animals. Man, it's not true, because a lot of them actually do have a little pride, man, as human
Type
beings.
what face?
You know?
Bars? If that were a needle on the ground, you'd go.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Boom! Needle fumble.
Just delay
This is happening everywhere, right?
It is.
Philly,
The nation
Kensington. You seen Skid Row and shit, man? No, but today, 2024, it's in people's faces. Before they were able to
Thanks
point,
for the
right?
content.
Oh, look
Keep
at
up
all
the
these
great
drug
work,
addicts.
buddies.
Yeah,
More
now your
calculator.
son is ODing in high school,
100%.
dead as shit, right?
When you tell people that, oh, hey,
Chat.
you know what?
Chat. Why don't a bunch of scientists and behavioral therapists and fucking people get together and find what is the actual solution and just say this is the solution?
Yeah, you can go and shoot up on the street corner. Here's a foil, here's needle. Well, what just happened to all of our businesses that were here? I was born and raised here. Where's the tourism?
I feel like if they want to do it in their house, they should do it in their house, not here. Yeah, as long as it's not on my bus.
So let me ask you, on this bus, do you have people often walk in doing drugs?
No, they light up on the bus.
Do you have to do anything about it? Can you do anything?
We shut the bus down for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Does
Let it air
that
out.
vastly impede and slow
how is it even hitting the streets though?
down the flow of bus traffic in the
Where
city?
are they getting it?
Yes, takes me out of service. It happens daily.
Matter of fact, when I left my apartment this morning and I was heading to go to an appointment, there's a guy, pants down, missing one shoe, needle in his arm, out.
Are you witnessing police officers come and say, hey, sorry, man, we got to give you a fine?
No. When I parked down here a couple weeks ago, there were a couple of guys just doing it right there, right on Second. You know that whatever that zombie drug is, like
Frank.
Yeah. And you see it still openly.
And I walked up and I kicked his foot a couple, because I'm not going to touch him.
Make sure he's alive, right?
Yeah, make sure he's alive.
Sure.
No response. Called 911. 911 didn't show up. What they did was they sent this street mental health group,
outreach group or
whatever they are.
What did they do? Did they administer Narcan?
No, they didn't do anything. They walked up and they're like, hey. And he just happened to move his, I was standing there and he just happened to move his head. And she's like, oh, well, he's fine. And they got back in their van and left.
Sure.
What is that?
Would you
It's the Live
suggest
Squad.
forcible rehabilitation? Is that a solution? Some people
I don't
also-
like the word forcible. You can't force anything on anyone.
And I'm just shocked at what Portland has turned into. It goes both ways, but it is a result of the opioid epidemic, and that goes back to the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors. They're just pushing that stuff on everyone,
As someone who works in a restaurant, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It affects business. It affects everything. Seriously. We had a guy come in one time. I kicked him out for wanting to do fentanyl in the bathroom. And he punched something off the wall, came back, and then threw poop on our window.
If they're going to recriminalize, is anyone going to go to jail from the Sackler family? Is anyone going to go to jail from the...
What?
I'm going to go to jail from the...
American owner of the pharmaceutical company, Purdue Pharma. All of the family is well known for its philanthropic contributions to measure its organic authority of their role in promulgating opioid epidemic.
Sackler family, you know, is anyone going to go to jail from the pharmaceuticals who started pushing this stuff? It's just a horrible situation.
Well, some people need it, though,
I think decriminalizing it has definitely enabled people. You can see it. You see the overdoses, you know, the spike in fentanyl, you know, like tranq is a thing now. I mean, it's getting pretty serious. It's to be seriously addressed here. I mean, it's like a war zone.
Do you think recriminalizing drug use and possession will help your situation as a business owner downtown?
Guys, I saw 2 documentaries about Oxy and whatever. I did.
I think it will initially help it, but do I think it's really the help we need in the long run? I'm not sure. It's like we need to have a better path to recovery.
What they did was bad for sure.
And a path where you're forced into recovery sometimes. You
But
can't just
the product itself is needed.
Committing and then there's no repercussion to it. Like if you die in public, you should have to go to recovery.
Sure.
That should be like, that's my bottom line.
I think these people need treatment and help, and I think there's still a lot of hope for them. I just don't think open use is healthy by any means for anybody. I don't think you give up on people.
What has happened here since 2020 is insane. I have feelings for these people. I care. But at the same time, I pay taxes, a lot of money to be here, and we need to be able to run a business.
Are we witnessing the collapse of the United States of America?
Yeah, you know,
I think so.
It looks like it's happening right before our eyes.
How we deal with drug addiction needs to be completely
this
different
is tough.
than the way we're doing it now. So
This is tough, chat, guys. I know this sounds like a water is wet. The thing is that the population is ill. People are ill, legitimately. A lot of the problems, a lot of the things that stem from the people being just ill, brother. Like, people are prescribed painkillers, morphine, oxy, all the time, and they take it for what it is, and they go back to work when they're injury or whatever, and the pain ceases. They just go. But the people that have nothing to go on, they have nothing to live for, no goals, no nothing. That becomes everything for them because it's like whatever. They have nothing to live for. That's the problem. The problem isn't the fucking pills and what they do. It's the problem before. The people are ill.
Oh, that's sad.
We're gonna try to figure it out. Everyone seems to be in pretty unanimous agreement that
I was on painkillers for a while.
Homelessness and putting people in jail is probably not the solution, but decriminalizing that and facilitating enabling drug use is also probably not the solution. There's something a little bit more nuanced here. The solution's somewhere in the middle, it seems. But what do the local drug addicts think about the recriminalization of the drugs they use
on
a daily basis? I met up with local street photographer Tara, aka Cocaine Michelle, to talk with some of the addicts downtown. All right, take the lead.
Let's go across the street into the gates of Chinatown.
Seems like Chinatown in every city out here has a lot of drug use and homelessness.
If you want Portland back, do you?
I've been watching
since.
The solution is to restore proper education and support for children development, That is the foundation, is to keep people in schools and whatnot and organized and supported and structured so that they become something and they live for something, That's the actual first block, I think.
That's the devil's playground.
But how much has the devil's playground changed since the last year I've been here? Has it gotten better or worse? Do you think it should be a crime to use drugs?
No, it saves lives.
If it was regulated, that it would be clean, it would be dosed right.
Because generally though, chat, I don't get it. This is actually my actual thought I've been having these days. The problem is that cost of life is too high. You need both parents to work. Both parents are working. Give less attention to children. Children don't get attention. Don't get role models. They don't have that guidance, and they just do things and seek validation onto their friends groups or whatever the fuck is going on, and then they devolve into things that don't benefit them in the long run. And everybody's out there doing wild shit, bro. That's the problem.
People are going to do it anyway.
That is the number one block that starts everything.
They never ever.
These are late game branches for these problems. Like when we talk about the first block, and there's another. There's a bunch of blocks. This, what you're looking at, is a super late game branch. It's a symptom of a bunch of other shit and the root, man. Fix the root, motherfucker.
Quit using it unless they go.
And that also helps and fix fucking a bunch of other problems like shootings, school shootings, bullying. That root fixes almost everything.
And the harm reduction
it does though.
Save some lives, in your opinion?
I need to get with Governor Tina Kotek and put up 3 radio towers around the whole TriMet system map. It's a drop in her pocket. I want to get with the local 29 Iron Workers Union, get that up in the air for college radio. God forbid, natural disasters.
Think the apocalypse is impending?
No, man. I'm talking about like, there's volcanic activity and stuff like that and earthquakes.
Oh, no volcanic. Nice spin on God.
But a little less densely populated with tents.
They get shuffled around.
So for instance, I'm
Have you seen a land volcano?
Some people right here.
It's a pretty hot spot for drug use.
Question for you, sir. We're trying to talk to the public and figure out their thoughts on the recriminalization of drugs out here in Portland. What was your name?
I'm Jay.
Jay? I'm convinced we've met before. Jay. My name's Tyler, Jay. Good to meet you. Jay, what are you shooting up here? Xylazine?
No.
No?
Good old-fashioned lightweight meth.
I'm convinced I literally met you somewhere around here like 10 months ago.
Yeah, September when I was out there in front of Subway.
Okay.
I was fucking real sick. Matter of fact, a couple days before I wound up going back to the hospital, and they'd taken a couple of my toes, and yeah, so
Okay.
It's recriminalization. It never should have been decriminalized to begin with.
Okay.
It gives, look what happened. When they did decriminalize it, they really didn't give it enough time to. They're just now getting these programs up and running.
Got it.
You had COVID going on. They didn't have the basis to decriminalize and get what.
Chat, instead of criminalizing, chat, why don't they hyper-criminalize? Make a big, massive prison box, okay? And then if you have it on the streets, or you're on the street, you're clapped. You're clapped. People will know, if I get caught with this shit, it's GG. Fucking 5 years instant. Bonk. I'm just saying. And it, boom.
That they wanted out.
Well, you say, oh no, dude. Oh no, my human rights. Okay. I mean, then let them kill themselves over time and suffer. There's self-torturing, brother. What's worse? A bad quality of life in a prison that's gonna bad and subpar, or then dying slowly and painfully?
Out of all that, this is ridiculous what's going on.
You can have it both ways.
You could see the route the dope boy took from fucking overdose to overdose down through the block. You had one up here, you had one over here on this corner, you had one down there on the bottom corner. Fire department didn't even know which one to get first.
Do you carry Narcan with you out here?
No, I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
They want to fix this problem. Stop giving these kids Narcan.
I think it's bad.
Let them die.
The problem fixes itself.
If I think it's bad, then I think fuck it in it. Put little machines like back in the day at the pharmacy, you put a quarter and you turn and there's candy. You do that, but instead it gives you crack rocks and fentanyl and trank, right? And you get another one, but instead of having put a quarter, it's actually free. Every corner you go, you turn, you get crack rocks, pipe, and the volcanoes, chat. Think about that.
Have you seen people die on the streets?
In the last 3 years, I've seen well over 200 people that I know personally die from fentanyl overdose. And
what do you think can be done to save lives out here? Stop these deaths?
I don't know. I really don't.
Are harm reduction services handing out foil like they used to?
No, they don't.
Not anymore?
No, they say they don't really have any resources for anybody.
Okay. Ran out of money?
I don't know what their problem is.
Okay. Explain, actually, yeah.
Was completely full of tents like last week.
Where did it go?
I don't know.
It seems like I'm looking at familiar faces down there. They don't disappear. Some of them obviously die.
Yeah.
But it seems like one spot to the next to the next.
A drag. I kind of think that Oregon should follow in the footsteps of some of these other countries that they've actually decriminalized a lot of stuff. And
Portugal?
Yeah, Portugal, Sweden, some of those countries over there. Send a group of people over there to check that stuff out. Quit checking out out here on the street because everybody's just going like this in circles chasing their tail. Go over there and just check it out and see how things went. And we could learn some stuff from maybe some of those countries that were able to do that.
Nah.
I agree. But before I go to Portugal, I want to first tell.
Do people always say this shit? It's the same thing with prisons, whatever. Oh, dude, look in this fucking whatever Nordic country, dude. If you go to prison, it's rehabilitation. You get a Xbox, PS5. You get League of Legends with free skins, brother. You have. It's like you have a better home in prison. Oh, dude, bro, this shit doesn't fucking work here, dumb bum ass. Brother, you cannot apply shit.
You see people from
other places over
here.
You can't do that.
Do drugs and have a
it's
good
a false
time doing
equivalency,
it.
you fucking bum bitch.
Cocaine, LSD, and ecstasy. But in the 70s, they experienced a heroin epidemic.
The master is heroin in virtual.
The culture, the density population, the amount of people, the actual amount of criminals out there. Some of this shit is ingrained in the culture at the very foundation, brother. Like, holy shit.
You see here comes to buy, sell.
They don't have that rotten roots. They have a few branches that they get to. Chat, if you have a bonsai tree, okay, you can take your little trimmer and go clip, 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 and have the perfect tree. You get a massive real life forest full of actual trees. It's gonna be harder. Make sure that every tree is healthy. It's not the same ball game.
Or use nearby.
It's not the same ball game.
In broad daylight.
I've never seen anything that is as concentrated as this. I've never seen anything as open as this.
The problem has become so bad that police officials and politicians admit privately the battle is lost. The city of Amsterdam is slowly moving away from a policy of prohibition to one of accommodation.
Leading them to adopt harm reduction in the 80s at the height of the crisis, and were the first in the world to implement a safe needle and syringe exchange program. They were, at the time, the redheaded stepchild of drug policy in Europe.
Last pause.
Now, many.
Yo, dude. If I stub my toe, okay, it's fucking 65K at the fucking hospital, okay? How much do you think it is for full rehabilitation for fucking years for a bunch of people? Whether it's in the fucking gazillions of dollars,
Amsterdam
man.
as an example of drug policy done right, including a lot of Portland activists that fought for the decriminalization of drugs in the first place. Before I talk with some of the experts who explain their laws and why they believe they work, what do the locals here think about these laws, drug use, and if there are real problems with drug addiction and homelessness like you see in the States?
Do you think they should sell heroin at coffee shops?
Nah,
yeah.
It's a little bit too far, I think.
What do you think?
I think everything from, marijuana, cocaine, sometimes in like places where you can control it,
Okay.
Yeah.
Use Molly and cocaine. Is it pretty easy to get your hands on out here?
Personally, I wouldn't know, but
I'm not a Fed.
Yeah. I would never,
Oh, actually?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Actually? Despite Amsterdam being a known drug tourism hub with over 160 plus coffee shops, basically little weed dispensaries, it's important to realize that all drugs, including even weed, are illegal, yet possession of less than 5 grams of ganja was decriminalized as of 1976, and the use of other drugs like cocaine, hash, magic mushrooms, and ecstasy is mostly tolerated, and if you get caught by the police, they can confiscate them, but you won't get fined as long as it's in small amounts. Basically, recreational use warrants a slap on the wrist, if that. It's illegal, but people do it and no one cares. On top of that, Amsterdam also has drug testing labs where you can test the purity of the drugs you want to use to have a good time and get the results instantly.
I mean, that's kind of basic, to be honest.
Yes. So, like Molly?
Yes.
Anything else?
No. So only.
Molly?
Yes.
Did you like it?
No, but because I am a runner. But too funny to try is okay. But in my opinion, it's bad.
Are you on Molly right now?
Yes.
Oh.
Yet despite Amsterdam's extremely accepted relationship of drugs,
what?
You're hard-pressed to find a drug addict living in a tent outside or smoking fentanyl or heroin on the streets like you would in the US. But why?
I would say I don't do drugs, and I don't think they should be legal.
Yeah, me as well, actually.
For me, I think it's bad, especially for like the people that want to come here and like enjoy Amsterdam. But
people just high out of their minds out here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
but they're not disruptive, though, are they?
A little bit? Yeah, okay, what about you, man?
For me, it's fine actually, but as I said before, it's not my opinion. I don't support that. But we also support freedom.
Do you need water?
No.
Oh, okay, you're good. So you're high right now?
Yes.
Oh, I know that. How was your trip? You feel good right now?
Yes. Now I use jam yesterday. Today I don't smoke. So
Well, this guy's wasting his fucking hide in this bum ass fucking interview, but put some fucking headphones on and start walking, motherfucker. Jesus Christ, this guy.
Very
what the
strong.
fuck is he doing?
The fact.
Hey, well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Want to give you a fist bump. Good to meet you.
Ciao, thank you.
Hi, ciao, see ya.
We have a mayor right now who wants to decriminalize soft drugs, marijuana, cocaine, party drugs, essentially. I think there's a lot of logistics that need to be figured out with decriminalizing them.
Why do you think the U.S. has such severe drug problems compared to the Netherlands or Amsterdam in this case?
Maybe a mentality of, a war against versus working with people here.
Sure.
I don't have a problem with the drugs.
Okay.
Everything can be legal, it's my opinion.
Do you guys have...
Yeah, because there isn't some fucking guy tweaking out about some fucking land volcano on his porch and fucking spitting in his face, dude. That's why these guys thinks like that, because they don't have that problem yet, or they just don't have it.
Some
so
places there is
can't apply the same thing.
more problems than other places, but
Sure. It's very clean. Very few people seem to be on the streets dying. We'll start off with what drugs, if any, do you think should be legal, if any?
Antibiotics, mild painkillers, muscle relaxants, antihypertensives.
Maybe, some of them definitely should be legal, but not all of them. Maybe light drugs like weed or, I don't know.
Like some mushrooms?
Mushrooms, yeah, or something.
What are your thoughts on, let's say, heroin?
It should be illegal, I think, because it destroys people's lives, so...
Most cardiac meds, anti-seizure meds, insulin.
Yo, this lady doesn't fucking get it. Yo, oh my fucking god, dude.
Okay. Let's talk about, I guess, OxyContin, fentanyl. Those are medically...
They're narcotics. Would I want them legalized? They are legal in the U.S. with a prescription. I would assume it's the same here.
Let's say it was legal, regulated, safe. Would that be better for a society or group of people that already is addicted to it and dying off of it?
As a paramedic, fentanyl
Yeah.
should never be legalized.
Okay.
It's a killer. Now, marijuana, yes.
What about fentanyl? Fentanyl.
I don't really know what this is.
Okay, that's crazy.
Fentanyl. I don't even know what that is about.
Really? Where are you guys from?
The UK. Like Leeds.
And you guys are high right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, on weed?
Yeah.
Do you guys think anything harder than weed should be legal?
Like what though? Like heroin?
Let's say like coke, heroin, ecstasy.
Not coke, because coke's like aggressive, gets you like aggressive in it. So probably maybe psychedelics.
That's not just the problem.
I think
It's not about being aggressive either. That's not even the problem. The problem is risk of reuse and fucking addiction and physical body
Gets
harm.
you like aggressive in it. So probably maybe psychedelic.
Guys, it's on the highest tier. These are of addiction and bodily harm. These are like at the very top of the echelon.
I think anti-abortion stuff has shown that yes, you can ban things, but banning it only pushes it underground and makes it more expensive and more dangerous.
Let me ask you this then. Should fentanyl be legal without a prescription, let's say?
I'm going to say no.
Take the head off the snake.
Okay.
And you have to go to the source where it's coming from and get rid of the source.
Obliterate the cartel, obliterate these manufacturing plants.
That would be wonderful if we could.
Do you guys have any drug problems here in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Lots of
Yeah.
especially the tourists.
A lot of drug tourism?
Yeah.
What do they do here?
Nothing, just do drugs. They don't spend money on good food, only on drugs.
I see. Do you guys think most recreational drugs that aren't, let's say, heroin or maybe even coke should be legalized?
No.
Do you think ecstasy should be legal?
I just did it once, twice. It was good, but I personally I have a friend who.
A friend?
It started like this, once per week, and then it was literally every day or every 2 days.
Oh, shoot.
He lost control. In just 2-3 months, he became an addict. In the beginning, I say no, everybody can be safe from that, but then with the time pass and you see the reactions, the excuses, the eyes.
What drugs do you think should be legal, if any?
Should be legal, and mushrooms, and marijuana.
Marijuana, that's it. Anything harder than that?
I don't think so.
Would you ever do cocaine?
No, that's madness.
Would you ever do Molly?
No. The best solution for all these problems is to allow people more or less to use. But the problem is became bigger and bigger. It's going to be a health issue and not only in Amsterdam.
I don't want to put you in a spot here. I'm not a Fed either. Where do people get their drugs if they're not buying off the streets out here?
Other people. I personally, I don't really do drugs.
I don't do drugs. I believe you. I believe you. I'm against
drugs. Okay, dude.
It's a radio, you muppet.
I know people who do, obviously.
Okay,
just
dude.
get people's phone numbers, social medias.
I've seen like the Telegram group chats too. You pay with the Bitcoin. I don't know if that's a scam, but
yeah, there's ways.
Yeah.
Well, if this is the American market, then give people safe needles.
Okay.
For free, condoms for free, abortion for free.
What drugs do you think should be legal, if any?
I think they've done well.
Food are free, clothes are free, house are free.
Here, how you can only smoke it in certain places.
Everything should be free.
You're not allowed to smoke it out in public, that sort of thing.
Do you think the coffee shops are a pretty good idea?
I think they're a good idea because it's
everything should be free. Plus general income for the world for free, a career for free, everything for free. You should walk around
and so you're not.
Life is over. You've got late game because the whole path is free.
I think other drugs, when you start going into harder stuff, can start to get a bit dangerous. I think they've hit the nail on the head here, to be honest, with the rules and the laws around drugs.
Were you here during the heroin crisis in the 70s?
I was in the small street there, Dam Street. There was a student bar. I was a bouncer there. I had to fight the junkies. They came inside our pub, and then they asked for a coffee, and then you wait 5 minutes, and suddenly you saw they went to the toilet, and the spoon of the coffee was gone.
Okay.
So you knew what was going on.
Of course.
I've been attacked by them with knives, and
you were pretty buff back then?
Yeah.
Would you line back to tackle them or what?
No, I grabbed them, lift them up, and walked them out and put them on the street.
What do you think solved the heroin crisis back then? Why don't I see many drug addicts on the streets out here today?
Okay, this is yes. Most things should be free. You psychopathic anthropomorphic mop. Okay, listen, man. First of all, I need you to flip my burger. Did you flip it? Yeah. Okay.
Hey. Well,
now,
we
pay my taxes.
The special.
Gotcha. Now pay for my lifestyle.
And places where they can safely.
Brother, who's gonna pay for that?
I see.
I think that if you have
somebody has to work.
Things which also give you a nice boost, you can easily quit the heavy ones, and also the
methadone, Suboxone.
Yeah, methadone is the word I was looking for.
Okay.
I think all in all, many countries follow the Dutch approach.
What advice do you have for the United States to reduce the opioid overdose deaths?
Give everybody who is in jail for weed, for soft drugs.
It's why the whole commie shit doesn't fucking work. You wanna know why? Because you're avoiding human nature. Human nature is who we are as people. People in general, humans, it's a complacent species. We're complacent as fuck. If you have everything, have nothing to do, the reality is you're gonna do fuck all nothing.
Freedom again, immediately. The country with 330 million people walking around.
Nobody's gonna do anything. Nobody's going to advance. Nobody will do shit.
Like Los Angeles, like people sleep on the streets. What the
yeah, 49.
Yeah, more weed off to the red light district we go. More wisdom shall be found. And while I was trying to interview some people in the red light district, I walked up to this dude. He asked me if I wanted to buy some ecstasy, so I asked him if I could interview.
This is it. Well, you think so? Humans were born to work because we would get bored? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. It's why I always say, even if you're old, if you don't have a plan of what you're gonna do when you retire, you shouldn't retire.
Interview him. He saw
not
the
because of
camera
money.
And began freaking
you're gonna
out.
be so bored.
Don't play.
If you have, and then you're gonna be depressed as fuck.
Hey, I tell you,
You, man.
Trick you, chat, smile.
Not all of work is fucking mind-boggling. Some people actually like what they do.
MDMA. He's tweaking on me right now, and he kicked me like a little soccer player.
What the fuck?
You, ma'am. All right, we're getting out of here. Goober tried to sell me some ecstasy. I denied. I can't believe he kicked me. So in search of confirming or denying the reality that drug addicts living on the streets using hard drugs in public here in Amsterdam was near impossible, I pulled up to what used to be the drug epicenter of Amsterdam in the 70s and 80s that used to be rampant with drug use and crime. We're in the Zeedijk neighborhood. In the 70s, this place was the epicenter of the heroin crisis. A big open-air drug market was right here. Now, not the case. This place is clean, freshly gentrified, nice, decent, solid neighborhood, which goes to show a neighborhood can in fact be recovered. Think of the Skid Rows, the Tenderloins out there. It's not over. It's nice out here. But why? What did they do to fix it?
How was it saved? So I met up with Dennis Leahy, director of MDHG, an organization committed to helping drug users, homeless people, and is pushing for the legalization of all drugs. One of your guys' mission statements is to decriminalize most drugs in Netherlands, or what?
Well, the idea is legalize all drugs.
Okay.
Prohibition isn't working. With every product you have, whether it's legal or it's illegal, you have to deal with production, distribution, and consumption. And drugs have always been there. It's a fact of life that people use drugs, even animals use drugs.
Utopia Andy is, I mean, this is brand new Utopia Andy.
And talk about the heroin crisis here in Amsterdam. Tell me, how did Amsterdam come to this heroin crisis?
Some of these drugs, the likeliness that a lot of users will reuse, will become addicted and do all that is too high. You can't hardcore enable it.
Okay. First of all, Amsterdam was the middle of the earth at that time.
What are you on about?
A lot of hippies went to Amsterdam. There was already a lot of experimentation with drugs, with LSD, with cannabis, with hash, and stuff like that. Some of the main causes are that drugs coming to New York from China through Marseille, and that chain was shut down. And they moved it to Amsterdam. At the time, Suriname became independent. In former times, it was a colony of the Netherlands. So a lot of Suriname people came to the Netherlands because they could get a passport, but didn't get the proper job. We had American soldiers who came back from Vietnam and started traveling around Europe and finding a place in Amsterdam. So all these different factors came together and get out of that situation. People cry out for help, start helping them.
And how did you guys do that?
Dude, the reality is, if you want cocaine right now, you wouldn't know where to go, right? And I think that's a good thing. If you were like, dude, man, I really want to fucking do cocaine like right now. If you knew a place, it was legal, you could go and buy it. The reality is, you probably would. And for a lot of people, a good percentage, they will become addicted to it, brother. That is not a good thing.
Of course,
that is not a good thing.
We as an
You're an
organization
idiot.
didn't reach out to people thinking, oh, you're doing something illegal, so we're going to punish you or stuff like that. No, we want to help you. I've seen a lot of people being addicted to heroin or base coke for 20, 25 years. Never, ever going to quit. And we started helping them with their financial problems, with psychiatric problems, with housing. Great start. Make sure people sleep inside and have their own place. And then
you can get coke in 2 hours. You're branded.
And then they started figuring out, why do I even use drugs? Well, we started thinking about the drug markets themselves. One of the things, of course, was that we started with the coffee shops, separating cannabis from all the different drug markets. It was a very good thing to do. But we already started with the coffee shops themselves, having illegal distribution points for cannabis, making the consumption legal. People who want to experiment with drugs already got the message from, there's a big difference between heroin and cannabis. So if you want to experiment with drugs and you go to a coffee shop, people who were shooting heroin at the time, they shared their needles. At that time, hepatitis B was a big problem. Exchanging the needles, people would get hepatitis B. Started a program in which people can get easy access to needles, so they didn't have to exchange that anymore.
Dennis's core belief is that the heroin was available regardless. Therefore, giving it to those who are going to use it no matter what in a legally and regulated way would then undercut and destroy the black markets, decrease profit incentive for the dealers, and cause users to avoid using potentially dirty, laced heroin sold on the streets. I met up with Hans from Legalized, who believes legalizing heroin and giving it to the addicts for free was an obvious choice for Amsterdam. And what do you do here?
I do many things in the realm of drug policy here.
Okay.
It should be said, many of them died.
Okay.
Yeah.
I disagree.
They all stopped injecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about only the people that were going to do it regardless. What are the people that weren't going to do it? What about the people that weren't going to do it? And now it's legal and it's around the corner? Might as well, right?
Because we found out that smoking is
you're
much
missing
better
a
for
part
your
of the
health
problem.
And we did give them clean syringes, which was a great
people
way
are
to contact
curious,
them,
brother.
and then
People
tell them like, hey, how are you doing? And,
it's that simple. They'll do it.
Forced some forcible rehabilitation, they would have survived.
But we saw most people die after they came out of prison, and you can't keep them in prison for their whole life for consuming something that they want.
How did they die?
It does happen that if people come out of jail, they overdose really quick.
They just are excited to get back to the drug and get straight into it?
They overdose quite quickly, and they go deeper than they've ever been. From there, we started started with the experiment together with Switzerland to give away free heroin.
Okay.
And due to its success, it's now a full program that you just saw the front door of.
So tell me about Housing First.
Hi.
What is Housing First, and do you think it's a good or bad thing?
Housing First is a great thing. I think if you don't have a house, then you live a very bad situation, very unhealthy.
Do you believe someone addicted to heroin, let's say, could maintain a home if it were given to them? So that's not in conflict with the drug addiction or the habit. That's a common belief in the States, at least.
I really wonder why that is.
The idea of not giving these people free housing, food, and whatever else they needed was entirely foreign to the Dutch mind. For Amsterdam, hardcore drug addiction was a health problem and not so much an act of criminality or laziness like how many view it in the United States.
One thing you need to understand about drug crises is that the people who come to the MDG, for example, they have a lot of problems. About 90 to 95% of the people who come to us use the drug as a form of self-medication. It's because of sexual abuse. Fathers who've been beating them up, working in a system as a child already in youth care. Those are the problems you need to do something with. When you're dealing with a drug crisis, it's not the drug crisis, it's the people's crisis.
Do you think involuntary
that's what I said!
Forced rehabilitation?
That's what I said!
Someone addicted to hardcore on the streets?
No, it doesn't work. Your target should be getting people a good life. We have a lot of members who are still using drugs on a very regular basis. And they lead a good life, and the drug use helps them to have an ordinary life. I think that should be your target. And you can see if you help people get a better life, then the drug problems will go down. One of the reasons why people don't improve their situation
Chat,
is because
the
nobody's
Kurtzkazar
ever nice
video
to them.
about
And if
addiction
nobody's ever nice to
gives
you,
a good insight about
why
this.
do you want to walk the path with those people?
Sure.
I've had people crying just because they went into us and said, "You're doing nice to me."
So, human kindness is lacking in a lot of these organizations and governments, and you're tearing up a little bit. You're getting emotional on me.
Yes, of course.
At the you think people are leaving people
Oh, bro, it's
behind
microdosing for
when it comes
sure.
to drug use? People see these drug users and say these people are trash and they don't deserve
of
help.
course.
Yeah,
That's the word, junk.
junkie, right?
We call people junk. These people have been through such a lot why they started self-medication. And then as a system, we react on with punishment and spitting at them and stuff like that.
And then it's almost like it aggravates the drug problem. These people continue to look down upon them and they continue to self-medicate even harder. And so what if I'm a drug consumer and I say, my answer and what I want is to use more drugs until I die? Would there be a world where I'm involuntarily rehabilitated?
So, there's not a single person is the same. So it's quite difficult to oversee this situation. So we will put a net of safeguarding around this person and give him his dose of heroin or whatever he says he needs. With that, he will be able to control his own problem, and we will help him with that.
It's legally distributed by the municipality, and the people who are in the program do that on a legal basis. In many cases, these are people who have been addicted to heroin for a long time, have been trying to stop, but that didn't work out. So now they can go to the municipality and get legal heroin twice a day. This works great.
What is this right here?
We call this the heroin facility. This is where people who have their habits of heroin consumption, we give them free heroin. We give them medicinal grade heroin, and we give them housing. We look what they need in their life. With that, we tackle the whole opiate crisis.
I booked my ticket, chat. I booked it.
3 of these places existing, but only 2 of them also provide heroin, and the third one also provides methadone. In the 80s, when we started, there were 15,000 people only in the night place where they gave it away, and now there are only 15. So 1/5 are just left of this group.
Chat, I got the top bunker.
Opiate consumer
Don't
is
bother.
now 54, which is bizarre, and every 5 years the average age goes up 4 years.
And does that just mean the current drug addicts are still aging and
Yes.
still using heroin? There's not a new market for those heroin users.
Hardly, no. The program is such a big success that it
Thanks
almost
for the
collapses
streams,
under its
brother
success. We need to keep
xQc.
that open because it does help. Problems if you close them down are much bigger because it's free. No one can.
There's no profit incentive.
There's no
for promoting
profit
to sell,
incentive,
right?
yeah.
Okay, and that pushes people to go on the streets and sell coke and MDMA is what I see around the red light district.
While
Yeah,
EU
if
was
you want to
busy
buy
being
fake
the bomb,
drugs,
the
this
US was
powder,
busy dropping the
Okay.
bomb.
just do that.
Where?
First of all, they got their life back together.
By getting the heroin?
By getting the heroin, because if you know you're getting your heroin, you don't have to chase heroin anymore. And you know, okay, the rest of the day I don't have to steal things to get money to buy new heroin.
They're not resorting to less than desirable behavior. They're not selling their bodies or something they don't want to do to get this drug.
Well, second of all, they get good heroin. I'm not encouraging anyone to try heroin.
Sure.
Respect that for sure.
I get that.
But good, pure heroin isn't that bad as people think it is, because the problem with heroin is it's not just heroin, it's mixed with all kinds of stuff. If you have financial problems and chasing heroin, you don't have a refrigerator with good food. You don't go to sleep on a regular basis. So that's why we in Amsterdam have very, very few heroin users, because it's not interesting to start selling it.
What are some lessons the United States can take from the Netherlands as it relates to drug policy?
The best lesson would be, let's work together on legalizing and regulating drugs instead of fighting drugs. Because when you're
videos go in circles. I enjoyed it though.
Fighting people, and you're helping the corruption of the system. Because of the fentanyl crisis, there could become something good out of it, namely that.
I understand. Yeah, it's going circles. Let's watch some clips, shall we? Okay, here it comes. Yo, this is X on the beat, yo. Okay. You heard my voice as well. That S. Anyone knows that boy? I don't know, he's just so soy. Anyone knows that boy? I don't know, he's just so soy. Okay, that was pretty cool.